Time to create a text on face, aka a calligram effect. We're going to be using the displace filter in Affinity. To start off, we add a black fill layer using the pixel menu. Once we have our fill layer, let's make sure it is the lowest layer in the layers panel. As mentioned, we are going to use a displace filter, and for this we need a displacement map. To create a displacement map of the image, we can duplicate the image and convert this duplicate to black and white. For the conversion to black and white, use your favorite method to do that. Personally, I like to use the channels mixer, for which I have a quick preset. It's just setting the mode to gray, and this will get you an accurate black and white image. Before moving on, let's make sure the channel mixer adjustment only applies to the duplicate by dragging and dropping it onto the name in the layers panel. Now this adjustment is clipped to the duplicate image we just created. I think it would be best to increase the contrast in this image as it feels a bit grayish. Having a stronger contrast will help with the displacement filter later. To add more contrast, we can add a levels adjustment and adjust it to our needs. Usually with low contrast images, there will be a gap at the beginning or at the end, and we just need to make sure that the black and white levels match the histogram. The final step to create the displacement map is to add a Gaussian blur effect to it. Make sure to blur it enough, but not too much. You still need to see the contours of the face. Now that our displacement map is ready, let's add some text. To save you some time, I already have some text and I will paste it to this document. Make sure your text is white. We can now add the displacement filter to our text layer from the layers panel. In the displacement filter dialog, we can now use the load map from layer beneath button to load the displacement map we created. Let's also adjust the strength of the displacement so that we have a good looking displacement. To get the face back, we can duplicate the layer we used to create the displacement map. From this duplicate, we can remove the blur and then set the blend mode of it to multiply. As this effect works best as a black and white image, we can turn off the original image layer so that the black fill layer gets active and we get a beautiful effect. Optionally, we can duplicate the top layer and change the blend mode of this from multiply to overlay to get a stronger effect. Awesome! This is the quickest way to get the effect. However, I personally prefer the following method. Instead of using a multiply for the original image in black and white, we can also use it as a mask. I'll hide the top layer in overlay blend mode for the time being and set the blend mode of the layer in multiply back to normal and remove the adjustments we added so that we get our original image back. I could also just duplicate the original image. Anyway, with the layer selected, I can now convert this to a mask using the rasterize to mask option in the layers panel. I'll group the text layer with the displacement filter and then apply this mask to the group we just created by dragging and dropping the mask onto the icon of the group. Let's turn back on the layer in overlay blend mode and we get a very similar effect. And here it is without the overlay image applied. Pretty cool. To make the effect a bit more interesting, let me open up my dither tool from my tools page and copy the original image. Back in my tool, I can paste the image and the tool will create a dithered image. Let me open this image in a new tab so I can copy this and then back in Affinity, I can now paste the dithered image. When we change the blend mode of this dithered image to multiply, we get this pretty cool dithered text effect. This will, however, make the image quite a bit darker. So what we can do is go to the mask we created earlier for the group with the displacement text and add a levels adjustment to it. By default, the levels adjustment will be added to the top of the group, but we can drag and drop this to the mask image icon. Now, in the levels adjustment, let's switch to alpha so that we can modify the mask intensity. We can make it even darker or lighter by adjusting the black or the white level. If you want a colored variant of this effect, just select the black fill layer at the bottom and change the color as you see fit. Another cool thing you can try is adding a gradient map to it, so that you can change the color of the blacks and the whites. By the way, the same techniques can also be used not only for text, but also for other images to put on a face. I'll turn on the original image and in the group with the text, we can paste an image and use the displacement map we created earlier to the image. After repositioning and masking the image, we can get interesting effects. The possibilities are endless. Hope you liked this video, and thanks again for tuning in. Hit the like and subscribe buttons before you leave, and see you in the next video.